Geraint, an important 3 points tonight then to kickstart your campaign against Bulgaria, and of course it was 2 goals at the interval. What were your thoughts then on the second half and also both sides?
Well, it was 3 at the interval, but we were disappointed still with the way we played first half. And I've just been in there now, and I've never been in a dressing room that's so disappointed with a 3-1 win. And I think that says an awful lot about the young men that were out there tonight. We know we can play a lot better, but I've got to give credit to Bulgaria. I thought they came out second half with nothing to lose, 3-0 down, and moved the ball about well. I think that, to be fair as well, the head injury disrupted us. That didn't help. We never really got going second half. So having said that, as I've said, we're disappointed with the performance in the second half, but we know that this group of players can score goals. We've got a lot of explosive pace, and as you say, 2 goals from Tommy O'Sullivan as well, and that makes 8 in his last 6 internationals for Wales from midfield. So they're a good group. As I said, they've worked phenomenally hard this week. They've been really joy for us to work with. I'm delighted for them that we've got off to 3 points, because that's a good Bulgaria side. We've got 3 points in our first home fixture, and we move on now, and we can and we will improve our performances as well.
You mentioned Tommy's double Geraint. I mean, 2 fantastic finishes, very, very accomplished in front of goal.
I've seen it for a number of years now since I've been in the job. As I've said, it's his 8th goal in his last 6 internationals for Wales, or 7 internationals for Wales, sorry. He came with the under-19s to qualifying, and then to the elite group, which was against Portugal, Belgium and Greece, and he scored 6 goals in those 6 games, and he scored 2 again tonight. So I know what a talent he is from midfield. He's got an eye for goal, and his engine is unbelievable. The first one, you're looking at it and saying, Wes is quick, and he's gone up the line. There's nobody can get in the box, and he's got on the end of it for a great finish. So there's a lot of play. I don't like to single out too many individuals, but we've got a lot of good footballers in midfield. We've got pace up front, and it's our first time together, and it showed a little bit, and I think the lads felt a little bit the occasion. Beautiful stadium, but we want them players to get used to playing in stadiums like this. This is where we want them to be, so that when they go on to Chris's national side, it's something that they just take in their stride. So good start, but I hope and I believe there's an awful lot more to come from us.
How much was the result at the weekend? Bit of a motivating factor.
Massive.
There's a big glow about Welsh football at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think you could see that in the way that the boys started the game, and we started with a nice early goal, and we were positive. And it is spreading, and it is all coming from what Chris and the boys are doing. The last double header, I was in Cardiff. I was lucky enough to go down to the camp and join the boys. I had to do the initiation ceremony. Gareth made me get up in a chair and sing, which I thought was a very good rendition of Delilah. And that's the sort of thing that they've got going on in there. It's one for all for one, and that is permeating all the way through Welsh football at the minute. And there is a feel-good factor, and I'm delighted for these boys that have gone away now. We're top of the table till September, so we'll go again when we get back together then.
You've got a few boys in the squad who've had experience with the seniors. Does that help?
Massively. Because when I'm talking to these young men about they've got a chance to get into the national team, there's a pathway through. Chris and myself liaise all the time about who's doing well. Chris was here tonight to watch it. It's a fantastic opportunity for these young men that we want them to be pushing the boys in the first team. The boys that came through last year are now part of the squad. These boys have got to push their way into that as well. And it can only be good that we've got all that talent trying to push into Chris's squad.
You said obviously got a long way now to the next qualifier. Any plans for friendlies or competitions this summer?
No, the reason we took this one this early in March was because June is not ideal time for the lads, especially the younger lads who their competitions will finish in May. So it's an awful long time, a month, 6 weeks, they'll be out the season. So it's a job well done tonight. We had to take an early one. We've got the 3 points. From, as I say, I think a very good Bulgaria side. I think you'll find they'll do well in the group. So we've got our 3 points, and we'll get back together after they've had a summer break in September. I mean, now I'm just looking forward to, as I say, hopefully hooking up and watching the first team, and obviously hopefully they get a great result against Belgium.
How do you look at that pool that you're in there, Geraint? Because I mean, people would look at it and say there's no obvious big nation in there, but obviously Denmark are a very, very accomplished side. How do you rate your chances?
Well, the teams that are in there because they were seeded. They were seeded because they've won games. You know, and if Denmark are in the same group as Holland, Spain, England, Italy, they're there because they deserve to be. So we know that'll be a tough game because they're not a recognised, you say, big nation. But they've qualified for the finals this year along with, you know, your Englands and that. And a lot of the other bigger nations haven't qualified. And they went through qualification unbeaten, 10 games, and they won, or they went through in their playoffs. So you know that they're a quality nation. You know that they're hard work. Their actually team that qualified beat Bulgaria 7-1 in the last qualifying game of the last campaign. So you know that it's going to be tough. Romania are there because they've done well. So Armenia, we're fourth because that's where we be. But we're looking to improve on that. And because we are there, there's no reason we can't get in the top two and qualify.
Just one on Joseph Wright, obviously had to come off in that second half. Geraint, what's the...
Looks like a boxer's broken nose, concussion. He's a tough kid. He's up about. His mum and dad are here, so we're making sure that he's looked after tonight. He'll be with them tonight so that he's under care. But I thought he did great as well. First international to come in. Him and Josh looked as if they'd been together for a number of years. So it was great for us that they came in, and thankfully, well, it's a broken nose and concussion, but he's on his feet and he's up and about, and I think it all goes well for us ongoing. That he's delighted, you know, and proud to take his shirt home with him.
Would you have liked the game to have been stopped there, Geraint? I know their goal came from it.
I couldn't understand that. I mean, it was such a bang, and I would have expected, I would have shouted on to our boys to kick it out when somebody's had a bang like that. I mean, you could clearly see he'd smashed his head. He was almost out, and I just felt it went on for far too long. The goal is the goal. Whether they score, I don't care about that really. I was just worried about his welfare, and I did think it should have been stopped a lot earlier because it was a heck of a bang on the head. Yeah.
Okay. Rob, sorry.
Yeah, very quickly, Geraint. Obviously, from looking from the outside in, and particularly with the win, it looks like an easy job. But in terms of when the team doesn't play now until September, isn't it, in Luxembourg? And obviously we've got all the intermediate teams. So what kind of work will be going on in between in terms of preparing perhaps the younger players that will be coming up through the ranks now? What's your job?
Yeah, Thursday we announced the Victory Shield squad who've just finished. We go to a preparation tournament in the Faroe Islands with Northern Ireland, Faroe Islands and Iceland. So that squad has to be named Thursday. So we're making sure, while I've been on this squad, with David Hughes as well, who's just come back during this camp from the elites with the under-17s, where they did really well, got 4 points, and narrowly missed out on qualifying for a finals. So David's come back on Friday, I think it was. We'll sit down, name the squad then for the camp coming up in April. And while he's taking that camp in April, I'm taking next year's under-19s to Germany to take on the Germans in Dusseldorf, which will be a great game for our lads and a big test. But that's the 1997 age group that got to the elites the year before at under-17 level. So we're busy, we're getting the lads in. And as I said, we want to make sure that the 17s, the 19s, the 21s are all playing, so that Chris has got a pick of good players, technical players, and giving him the best opportunity to take those players into the national team.
And just finally, you think it does give the consistency that's required as well in terms of developing that roster stuff?
Well, I think Osh does a great job with the national squads down, regional squads. Victory Shield obviously won for the first time since 48, 49 was it? They come to me and they've been immersed in playing football the way we want to. And I take it to the 17s, who for the last 2 years have got to the elites in both years. The first year with a tough group, we didn't manage to collect any points. This year we've collected 4, so there's been an improvement along there. The 19s we took this year, we didn't have many older boys, so we took young ones who are now the 97s. We played 8 boys who were a year young in the final game, and they won that. And they're the boys that are now moving into the 19s and take on Germany, looking then to progress to the 19s next year. These boys, 7 of them played in the last under-21s, the end of the last campaign, when they were 3 years young. Now they're 2 years older, now they're in their age group. They're still young for the age group. So yeah, we believe that there is a pathway, that the boys are taking on these bigger countries now, and not only are they taking them on, we're expecting to win. And you can see that if you go through into the national team now, they're going away with Chris, and they're going to tough places, and they're expecting to win. So there's no excuses now. We're not going to big countries thinking, well, we'll give it a go. We're going to big countries thinking if we're organised, if we play our way, if we use the ball well, we'll come out with a victory against anyone. And that's going through all the age groups, from the Victory Shield, 17s, 19s, 21s, and obviously the national team as well at the moment. So that's what we're building for. Okay, thank you very much.